And joining me tonight on Newshour Direct is Anupam Kher, a man who knows Kashmiriyat so well, is part of that great Jannat in this country, and of course who knows the pain of Kashmiri Pandits. Anupam Kher ji, thank you very much for joining me on the Newshour. And today is 19th of January, the beginning of the 32nd year of Kashmiri Pandits in exile. Where are we going? Are we going to only celebrate anniversary after anniversary of how the Kashmiri Pandits were thrown out of Kashmir? या इस रात की कभी सुबह होगी?
First of all, we should be thankful for the social media. At least we are now aware of it. I know that we should not be happy that we were trending, Kashmiri Pandits were trending at #1 for a long time. But can you imagine that this tragedy was overlooked by everybody for so many years? So at least awareness is better than being sent to in some oblivion place. Nothing can compensate for what has happened on the night of 19th January 1990, or before that also, not only, but that was the mass exodus. Since then, Article 370, 35A has been abrogated. People are talking about it. Sometimes when people are not even looking at your wound and pretending that it never happened, that's very painful. But I would like to say that if not my generation, maybe the next generation or next to next generation will reap the benefits of what we are collectively talking about or screaming about. Things don't happen overnight. When there is an agenda, when there is a political issues, when there is nobody, even in media for many years, nobody spoke about it. So I think we are heading towards somewhere slowly, very slowly, but at least awareness is there. कभी कभी क्या होता है कि बहुत दुख होती है, तकलीफ होता है, तो कोई कंधा दे देना अपना उस पर सर रखकर जिस पर आप रो सकते हैं, तो वो बहुत जरूरी होता है. तो आई थिंक आज के दौर में मैं ये कहना चाहूंगा कि 32वें साल में एटलीस्ट लोगों को इस बात का एहसास हुआ, हमारी ट्रेजेडी का लोगों तक पता चला. वरना तो इतना बड़ा मास एक्सोडस हुआ, 4 से 5 लाख लोगों को निकाल दिया गया, कितने हजार लोग मारे गए, women were raped, and nobody was trying to acknowledge. And I'm sorry, but even Supreme Court did not admit the petition of Sushil Pandit, saying that ये तो बहुत पुरानी बात हो गई है, इसका कोई रिकॉर्ड नहीं है. तो क्या कर सकता है इंसान?
Anupam Kher, last month, last couple of months, there have been horrific killings in the valley. And some people also began to draw parallels to what happened in 1990 कि एक दौर और ऐसा violent वाला आएगा. I want to ask you, are we as a society looking for the next volcano to burst? Are we actually becoming so sadistic that we are decrying the fact that somebody is trying to come out of an age-old wound, as you pointed out? Or are we just so insensitive कि हमें लगता है कि ओहो ये फिर से वो दौर आ गया, अब फिर जाएंगे, देखा ये सक्सेसफुल नहीं हुआ 370 abrogation. Where do you think the current situation really lies?
You see, terrorism and terrorists will continue to do so, not only in this region, but they are doing it all over the world, because they have no conscience. They just want to be talked about, and there is no sense of we should stop. They will keep creating these issues. But I must say that in the last so many years, things have become a little better. अब तो वो कश्मीरी पंडित को मारे या सरदार जी को मारे या हिंदूज को मारे या मुसलमानों को मारे, अब तो ये भी होने लगा है. ऐसा नहीं है कि ये सिर्फ एक ही किस्म के लोगों को मारते थे, हमको तो सबको खदेड़ दिया. दैट वाज a point they wanted to make. और हम भी उस कौम से हैं जो कभी बंदूक नहीं उठाते हैं, जो हम अपने ज्ञान से अपनी जिंदगी को आगे या अपनी पढ़ाई से अपनी जिंदगी को आगे बढ़ाते हैं. बट ये खत्म होने वाला नहीं. बट उससे ज्यादा जो तकलीफ की बात है ना कि अब हमारे यहाँ 2-3 किस्म के लोग हो गए हैं जो एक चीज को ट्रेजेडी मानते हैं और एक चीज को ट्रेजेडी नहीं मानते हैं। अभी भी बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो मानना ही नहीं चाहते हैं कि ये हो रहा है। हाँ, ये दे रिपोर्ट अबाउट इट even in media. I'm sorry to say that. When I say media, there is a section of people who will say not name the religion of the people. They will not name people. They will say something like this happened. So we have to live with this. And I'm not saying it bitterly. I'm saying it as a realist. We have to live with it, and mentality of people hopefully will change and things will become better. But इक्के दुक्के तो होते रहेंगे किससे, क्योंकि वो ये also you feel the helplessness and impotency of terrorists also now. Otherwise जो 1990 में 32 साल पहले हुआ कि 4 या 5 लाख लोग, 400-500,000 people, to throw them out of the valley in whatever they were wearing or whatever they could put. My mama put whatever, he had made a huge house and he had to put it in a Fiat car and travel from there on the night. So I hope that will never be repeated, and I'm sure of that, because that's what the positivity of Article 370 will bring in. That's what, when people can buy properties over there, that will not be able to do it. हाँ, ये सब कहीं ना कहीं से कुछ ढूंढ के रख लेंगे, ऐसा जरूर होता रहेगा.
Anupam Kher, you're also working and you're almost ready with a film called Kashmir Files.
Yes.
How much of the tragedy of Kashmiri Pandits and their exodus is something that the film really looks at and looks at in the eye? How is that film going to deal with something that's जिसको कहते हैं आप बीती? It's, you know, you've gone through it. How has that film come out?
So I've seen the film. It is the right portrayal of what happened on the night of 19th January 1990. I play one of the main characters of that time, and it's so strange that when I asked Vivek Agnihotri, who is the writer-director of the film, that what have you chosen my name to be, because I look at the physicality first. He said Pushkar Nath, and that's my father's name. So it is very close to reality, and I'm glad that he has made the contemporary film. It's not only based in 1990, it also comes to 2021 or 2022. So it is very, very horrific portrayal of what actually happened, and it will shake up people. It will make you actually feel what exactly happened at that time. Vivek and Pallavi went to America and had 15-20 shows in various cities, and their reactions are a proof that it's going to be a correct portrayal, heart-wrenching, horrific. It's going to, I think so. A long time back, Ashok Pandit made a film called Sheen, but in between, whatever films ever made were kind of a so-called Bollywood films. But this is a film which I want the world to see. Again, nothing can change for people who have gone through that tragedy, people who were thrown out of that place. Tikal Taplu's grandson I met in Boston. You can't change that. But at least the world will know what happened. It is as big an exodus or as big a catastrophe as what happened during Holocaust. It is a Holocaust of Indian modern independent India. So and that's what's shown in Kashmir Files.
So you're saying the acknowledgement of something that many want to pretend never happened is something that is part of the healing process. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it is. Can you imagine the tragedy that of a certain section of people that उनको prove करना पड़ रहा है कि हमारे साथ ये हुआ? तो at least वो कुछ कर तो नहीं सकते, but the fact that the world will look at this tragedy as a reality will in itself heal, as you said rightly, heal the wound a little bit. So many people have not even told their younger generation what happened at that time. So I know so many people who went through it. For me, Kashmir Files is not a film. There is not a single moment which I have not felt, and there was so many times that after the shot, I used to really burst out into tears because इतने सालों का जो वो घुटन थी, इतने सालों की जो helplessness थी, I think there was some kind of a catharsis for that.
Anupam Kher, we all know your mother, Dulari Rocks. She's part of social media and part of everybody's lives, anybody who follows you, and many people do. How have you spoken to her today, and how does she remember 19 January? Are the scars still as fresh?
So the fact that I talked to you about just now about my mama, that was my mother's younger brother. He was an overseer, and all his life, whatever money he collected, he made a house in Kashmir that finally I have my own house. And within 6 months, the terrorism started there, and he started getting letters that you have to leave the place. Otherwise, we'll put your head in the courtyard or something, and something like that happened, and they had to leave that. So it's very closer to her actual what happened. We were not there at that time. So my younger mama almost died after 3-4 years. I think he died out of shock. His wife went into another depression. So when she saw the film, she did not talk. She was howling and she was crying. And next day when I asked her, I said, कैसी लगी film? He said, ये इसको कैसे पूछ सकता है तू कैसी लगी? मेरा भगवान इनको सजा देगा. And I can see it longing in her. You know, when I put her video, they are very funny, but I know the sense of belong. You know, when you leave the house, you don't leave the building, or you don't need 4 walls. You don't leave beds and furniture. You leave memories. You leave the climate. You leave the thandi hawa. You leave the baraf ka wo pehla girna. You leave जिस सड़क से आप गुजरते हो, you leave millions and millions of memories. वो दोबारा कैसे create हो सकती है? घर तो बन सकता है, you can create a house and छत लगा सकते हैं, same furniture आ सकता है कश्मीर से. मगर जिन्होंने सालों साल वहां गुजारे हैं, वो गलियों में, उन चौबारों में, वो कैसे वापस आ सकता है? So she was horrified and she said, मैं कब जा सकती हूँ? I don't know. There is no answer for that.
Anupam Kher, you also recited a poem on your Twitter handle today. Can you just recite it for us? Because as you said, sometimes pain is equal to catharsis.
I'll have to find it. I think I should be able to do that for you, but I'll have to read it out. It is written by a gentleman called Ravi Dhar, and it goes something like this. बलिदान दिवस 19 जनवरी 1990. कहते हैं कि तुम भूल जाओ. बोलो कैसे भूल जाऊं? कैसे भूल जाऊं मैं? आंखों में डर की वो तस्वीर, माथे पर वो तनाव की लकीर, और रंग उड़े उन चेहरों को. बोलो कैसे भूल जाऊं मैं? हर पड़ोसी पर शक की नजर, मोहल्ले की कानाफूसी से डर, कराहते वक्त की पीड़ा को. बोलो कैसे भूल जाऊं? हवा में आतंक की गंध को, वितस्ता के टूटते तटबंध को, चिनार के उन घायल वृक्षों को कैसे भूल जाऊं मैं? बोलो. मकानों की खंडहर दीवारें, मंदिरों के खामोश नजारे और तीर्थों के सूने आंगन. बोलो कैसे भूल जाऊं मैं? वो फूलों की लुटी हुई सुगंध, निर्मल हवा में फैली वो दुर्गंध, नुचे पड़े श्वेत कमल झील के. बोलो कैसे भूल जाऊं मैं? गंगा जमुना तहजीब थी धोखा, दोस्त ने दुश्मन बन खंजर घोंपा, और सीने के उस गहरे घाव को. बोलो कैसे भूल जाऊं मैं? फिर घर लौटकर जाने की आस, जेलम के दिव्य अमृत की प्यास, और सुनहरी भरबीली वादी में उस वादी को. बोलो कैसे भूल जाऊं मैं? शिवरात्रि पर शंखों का नाद, खीर भवानी का पुण्य प्रसाद, केसरिया पकवानों का स्वाद. बोलो कैसे भूल जाऊं मैं? कहते हैं कि भूल जाऊं मैं. कैसे भूल जाऊं मैं?
Very touching. Anupam Kher, वो सुबह कभी तो आएगी. As you said,
I'm sure.
May not be in this generation, maybe the next or the next.
हम 1000 साल तक नाविका 1000 साल तक हम गुलाम थे. 800 साल मुगलों से और 200 साल अंग्रेजों से. 1 साल की जंग के बाद 100 साल की जंग के बाद हमें आजादी मिली. तो चीजें होती हैं, कुछ चीजों में वक्त लगता है, पर वो होती जरूर है. मैंने कहा ना कि मैं नहीं, आप नहीं, आने वाली जनरेशन या उनकी आने वाली जनरेशन कश्मीर में जरूर होगी.
On that very hopeful note, thank you very much, Anupam Kher, as always, for joining me on the News Hour and for speaking, as you always do, Dil Se.
It's always a pleasure talking to you, Navika. Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.